Powered by Riverside.
Hey, welcome to another edition of BJB Today. It's game day. It is the Sweet 16 of the NCAA volleyball tournament. Creighton takes on Arizona State at noon. Hope everybody understands that. It's at noon today, so take a long lunch, take the afternoon off, and we'll watch some great action. And hopefully, Jason get one more step and get one step away from the Final Four. Before we talk a little bit about the game and the match, we just want to shout out to our wonderful sponsors of Blue Jay Banner Today. And last night, as we told you quite often, that we had a huge event at Infusion, and they once again just knocked it out of the park, did a great job. Really appreciate everything they do. So please support them and their beers because they have great beers. Infusion Brewing, they got a new holiday vanilla bean Christmas cookie beer that is outstanding. So you need to check that out. They've got other seasonal beers as well. I had some of the German stout last night. It was awesome. So check them out. Go to infusionbrewing.com. You'll see all the times of their tasting room. And besides our event, their tasting room was pretty full of a lot of people just coming in and having a nice frosty glass of beer before the weekend starts. So check it out, infusionbrewing.com. You'll be very, very happy you did. And also teaming up with us at Infusion last night for our event was rtithreads.com. Go to rtithreads.com and see all the wonderful Creighton gear. I was paging through a bunch of it last night, and man, they got a ton of variety of stuff. It's unbelievable. So check it all out. Shirts, hats, tees, everything you want, Creighton design. And as Katie said at the event last night, they're not just logo apparel. Well, if your business wants some swag printed up, go to rtithreads.com. They'll give you a very, very good price and have it for you and do it in an outstanding fashion. And I know she's done that with because they are the exclusive apparel provider of Blue Jay Banner. She's done that with some of the things she has printed up for us, which I wear occasionally on the show, and then some others that are coming. We got some T-shirts coming, so check it out. That's rtithreads.com. Yes, event was really great last night, and if you missed it, I feel sorry for you because it was great. We had Neely and Nora Gessert, the fabulous freshmen that play for the Creighton women's team. And then we had Isaac Trout and Jason Green. They talked all about the Nebraska loss and what's going forward and what's happening at practice. And the crowd asked some questions. So it was a really, really great event. Everybody had a great time. So thanks for everybody showing up. And it was a little colder night last night. On to the volleyball. So as we said, noon on ESPN2 today, Arizona State. Probably taking a little too much into these quotes from the Arizona State coach, but usually when you get to this level, it's like, oh my God, this team is so good, and they've got these great players. And he was, they got a nice team. What's that? I guess that's the Arizona arrogance. I don't know. Versus our athletes, like Ava was just saying how great Arizona State is and how awesome they are, and Kiara too, the same way. Brian Rosen commented, so something to watch for today. These are two of the better blocking, especially middle blocking teams you're going to see. Both teams had a big weekend last weekend. I think Creighton led the tournament so far in blocking. So it's gonna be the team that is able to avoid the block and disguise their attacks to avoid the block. That's going to probably come out ahead on this one. But as always, like we talked about earlier, it's always down to serving, setting, and digging, right? I mean, everybody likes to see the big slam, but Serving's gotta be on point, and you can't, just lob it over. You know, you've gotta serve to certain spots and serve hard, and once in a while, that does result in a net, but or something wide or out, but, the team that does that the best is going to probably come out ahead as well as setting. Jays had some problems setting in those first 2 matches, last week at Sokol. Their setting was not on point, and it's gotta be on point today because those blocks will come hard if we don't get better setting. And then also the digging. I thought our digging was really good last week. Ava, especially in the back row, had a career high in digs. So that's gonna be key. I think when you get to this level, is if you remember back to the beginning of the year when we played Texas and Nebraska and Penn State and Louisville and on and on and on, um, you just balls that usually you get down now get dug out and the point keeps going. So I think Creighton's, seen that so many times. It's been a while, but they've seen a lot. They saw it a lot some last weekend, so I think they'll be ready for that. Um, and they talked about the middles. Um, you know, Ava was saying something about, the scouting. The scouting's phenomenal. Brian does such a great job of scouting teams. So I think they'll be ready from a technical standpoint. It's going to be execution in my book, my expertise in volleyball, if you want to take that. Um, they talked a little bit about being in Lexington a while back playing, so a couple years ago. So just their memories of that. Um, Arizona State's a very physical team, so they're tough to just get hands on the ball. So you may see a lot of high hand shots today to maybe get those deflections. That's always dangerous because then you can hit it out. So that's the kind of problem Arizona State poses. What's very weird is they had very similar opponents. They played Northern Iowa, Penn State, Texas. They beat Penn State. Um, that was right fairly quickly after Creighton lost 3 sets to them, but I think it was in the transition where they lost their best player, so maybe a little different team, but, they beat Northern Iowa. They played, I believe they played USC. I know they played Texas and got swept. But their coach said, "That was so long ago," which is true. That was so long ago that, you really can't take too much into that because teams change and evolve. And so, uh, I would say that's probably pretty accurate in the fact that same with Creighton, like, you know, you can't really look back on those matches like UNI was a way different team last weekend than they were back in August and September. So that's a perfect example right there. And same thing with Penn State, really. Okay. Much different team when we played them versus how everybody else played them the rest of the year. So I think it's probably a pretty even match going in here. I think it's pretty close. Like I said, Arizona's really good blocking. So our blocking is very good, but it's also sometimes inconsistent. So that's probably going to be the key. Um, I think it's good for us that we went 4 and 5 sets last week. I think that got us into the competitive mode. Because I would expect 5 sets today. If it's 3 sets, if it's a 3-setter, I think Arizona State will win. I just do. I think we're gonna have to go 4 or 5 to win this one, unless we just play lights out and don't make any errors. Um, their coach had a comment like he did credit Brian for coming in. It's hard to come in and take over, and he said he did a phenomenal job of doing that. But he's built a nice system around what he had. You don't usually hear that. Coaches usually say, "Oh, he's really done a great job." That's what they usually say, and I didn't see that in any of his comments. So, um, they did bring up the conference thing. I think that's kind of the key too. People are bringing up the fact that the Big 12 is way better than the Big East in volleyball. So people think that you'll have an advantage. I guess I would go back to basketball on that one. Gonzaga's conference isn't very good in basketball, and they're one of the top teams in the country year in, year out. So I don't know that that has a whole lot to do with how good or bad a team is. Um, I, I sense that there could be a tidbit of overconfidence on the Arizona State side. Even some of their players they keep talking about the Big 12 and how we could lose any particular set in the Big 12. So it's kind of like a little bit of a backhanded slam against Creighton. But at any rate, enough about that. But it should be awesome. I mean, it's just awesome to be in any sport when you get to that next weekend. Basketball, volleyball. It's great to get to that baseball. It's great to get to that next weekend because then everything just ramps up a little bit. Like the first round kind of hit us fast, right? It didn't really, all of a sudden there's a selection show and boom, now the first round starts. There's a little bit of build up to the Sweet 16, and I mean there's a lot of things at play here. Being with the regionals or the Finals Four, in Kansas City. That just seems like this could be the year, and we got the best draw I think of any region. I mean, I think you want to stay away from Louisville, Nebraska, and, Texas, some of those teams like that. So we did avoid that. So let's see what we can do with it. Rosen will have them ready, and he'll have them loose too. I don't think they'll be tight. That's kind of what he's preached and coached, and he's just kept the Booth way, and that's just translated on. So, okay. So again, noon, ESPN, and we'll have some comments on it tomorrow, perhaps. At any rate, today, this preview. Tomorrow, myself and Mike Rochon will do preview on Creighton, Kansas State. Speaking of that, we have a huge event. We're emceeing tomorrow over at the Hilton, right across from the CHI Center. Now, the Hilton has pregame for every Creighton game, for every home game. They've got a great drink menu. They got food. They sometimes have music. Tomorrow's going to be a little. So RTI Threads is there, and they're going to be there, I think, for most of the rest of the home games. So RTI Threads and the Hilton have asked us to MC it and do something a little different rather than music. So we're going to have an interactive little hour and a half program. We're going to bring in John Walker, the Omaha World Herald. So John will speak to the crowd, give us his thoughts on everything going on with Creighton, and you'll be able to ask him questions. And then you can ask us questions. We'll have a period where, hey, what do you guys, you guys are following the team. What do you guys think? What's some other questions you have? And then also, we're going to play some of our trivia games to give some stuff away. We got like a $75 coupon for RTI Threads that you can go right over to the area where they'll have a ton of merchandise and buy some great Creighton gear. Maybe you don't have some baby blue stuff. Hey, go over there because they'll have it. I know my wife last night at the infusion event bought a baby blue shirt to wear because it's a baby blue out tomorrow. So they want everybody to wear baby blue. We're on Fox, so they usually do those things. We're on Big Fox, by the way. When we're on Big Fox, they like to make the crowd look zesty. So there are plenty of tickets available, though. So that just tells me that the buzz on this team isn't there. That's for sure. But it is a bigger name, Kansas State, probably our biggest named home game of the year. So non-conference home game. So you could argue that this may be the third best team that comes into CHI this year behind St. John's and UConn. I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the Big East plays out. But right now, you might be able to argue that. But anyway, so the event starts at noon. at Hilton. And the great thing is supposed to be cold. So the great thing about that is you can park in the Hilton garage, walk through the little tunnel into Hilton, and then go to the game. You go in the overpass over the street and into the arena. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to go outside the whole time. So you park your car, you don't have to go outside. So there you go. Fighting if there's any wind. It's brutal sometimes walking into the game. So anyway, that should be pretty exciting. So come on out, support us, support everybody at the Hilton. They do a fabulous job. They donated some stuff last night, which was awesome. So thanks to them for doing that. All right, that's about it for today. Remember at noon today, Creighton and Arizona State. So we'll see you then. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Jays.